Hey, everybody, and welcome to another installment, yet another edition of Work Your Career Wednesday. I'm Bradley Clark. So thrilled, honored, and blessed that you decided to join us today. And today I got a real treat. We are going to be getting into the little bit of the world of recruiting from a guy that I have a lot of respect for, that's relatively new to the business, depending on how you look at it, but he's got a great track record and I really respect this guy a lot. But first, Isaiah, do you mind if we pay a little bills? We got to pay some bills
Always got to
before we
pay.
get started. And feel free to chime in. I'll probably call on you, for something. But listen, if you have anything that you want to document for via video, I am telling you, you need to get a hold of Steven Saldana at White Husky Films. The number is on the screen. You can always get a hold of us at www.whitehuskyfilms.com. If you got a commercial, music video, podcast, speaking event, whatever it is, conference, White Husky is your go-to. So dream, create, record in that order. And when you choose White Husky, you'll be so glad you did. And we have our sponsor, Jane's Physical Therapy, Jane's PT.com, JAYNESPT.com. Go on our website and apply, or go to LinkedIn and go to Jane's Physical Therapy and send us a message there. We are still looking for PTAs and PTs, that's physical therapy assistant and physical therapists in the New Orleans area, West Bank, Metairie, North Shore, South Shore, West Bank, all those places. Give us a call or send us a message. We'll be so thrilled to talk with you. Jane's Physical Therapy is an amazing organization, and you will be you're going to do so great. In-home physical therapy experts. You can't get better. So go to janespt.com, send us a message, and we will be replying. Been getting some great folks, Isaiah. Can you believe it? I'm recruiting from my sponsor.
There you go.
I don't know. You can take the recruiter out of the business, but you can't, you know what I mean? But
Amen to
I
that.
have, you know what I'm saying? I have an incredible guest today. Isaiah Rosario is a recruiter. You got about what, 5 years of experience?
Yeah.
um, Working at an incredible company called Joe Bot. Actually met him when I was at my former company, just talking back and forth on LinkedIn, and I've been watching him. And he's got a great attitude. He's got a wonderful, wonderful story we're going to get into. And I can't wait to see where he thinks the state of recruiting is in this modern era. Isaiah, Isaiah, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's get started real quick, and just if you could tell me a little bit about you.
Oh gosh. I guess there's a lot we can get into. But like a lot of us, I fell into recruiting.
Mhm.
I graduated from UT, Texas Longhorns.
There
Uh,
you go.
After graduating with a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism, I wanted to get into sports journalism. I was blessed to get a job. I worked at ESPN for a couple of years and then moved to Houston with my wife. Today's actually our 5 year anniversary. So, um,
Oh my gosh! Wow!
yeah,
Congratulations, man. That's too cool.
yeah. 5 years flies by really quick. And
It really
so
does.
moved to Houston, didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't want to do local news. And so, like most of us, I'm not sure how you got into recruiting, Brad, but I stumbled across recruiting. And again, I've been doing it the last 5 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got into it via my ex-wife, actually. I had been a partner in a company that represented actors, models, and musicians. And I met her, and she was billing, gosh, 1.5 million a year. And I thought, wow, I could go to San Francisco and have my leather attache. And I thought that was always so cool. I wanted to do that. And I thought, wow, she's doing the same job I'm doing. It's just she's representing tech folks instead of actors, models, and musicians.
That's true. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And so that's what I brought to it, was that entertainment business perspective. Probably much like you, right? I mean, because in you're doing broadcast journalism, at some point you're going to have an agent. Am I right?
Yeah, I think once once the actors get to a certain level, then yeah, you start getting representation as you're moving up in the markets. I think the lower markets you
Well,
probably
that's
representing yourself, but yeah, you get to a certain point
yeah.
where you have to have someone representing you and helping you find that next market you want to move to.
So you're coming at it from that journalistic broadcast journalism idea and profession, right?
Mhm.
Knowing that eventually you're going to have to get an agent to represent you and your interests,
Right.
and so you're bringing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but bringing sort of that attitude to recruiting. Do you find that representing the talent is not as prevalent as representing the company? You know what I mean by that?
I guess word that a little bit differently.
So when I in my day at it being in with an agency, I always represented, because I worked a full desk, right? Not
Right.
until later did I do the teams thing.
Okay.
And so I represented my candidates like they were Brad Pitt or, the next big thing, because they were, right? In their industry, they were rock stars. And I represented their interest as much as I represented the interest of the company. So my goal was to make a fit, not just, I didn't want to put a warm body in a cold seat. I wanted to make a fit. I wanted to make hires that were long lasting,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And that's the way I did it. And when I was at one of the largest staffing companies or recruiting companies in the world, my the way I did it was a little different, but it wasn't. I just used different vernacular. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay. Yeah. No, if I get what you're saying, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the best way to build your business is to make sure you're building a partnership, right? You don't want to
Right.
be an order taker. You don't want to be transactional. You want to be able to work with clients and find ways to help them grow their business. You want to
Mm.
be able to find them candidates that they're not going to ever have access to. That's why you're paying the premium to work with someone like myself, someone like yourself. You want to be able to find the best talent in the market as efficiently as possible that's going to make a difference to their business.
1,000%. How do you feel that attitude is uh, amongst people in recruiting right now? Maybe ones that are just getting in, or do you think that they share your attitude and maybe your passion?
I mean, it's a little bit different here at JobBot just because we hire experienced recruiters. When I worked at my previous agency, it was one of those where, like most agencies, you're hiring someone maybe out of college or someone like myself that was making a transition in their career. And a lot of times, you get sucked into the whole transactional thing. And again, I get it.
Mm.
I still have that at times where everything is so fast paced and you're just looking to fill that role and go from there. But that's not how you build your business. I mean, to be able to be successful and to make it long lasting, and so that you're not running that rat race for years and decades, you have to
Mm.
be able to build your book of business, and go from there, and have partnerships with clients that trust you and know that they can work with you and then know that you have their best interests at heart.
How do you feel that your training was? I mean, were you like, I went the first place I went, and I was lucky. I was eventually married to someone that taught me the business, and then I brought my own stuff to it as well.
Sure.
But when my first company was like boot camp, they gave me a phone book, because back with phone books were a thing, but they gave me a phone book and a desk, and we all sat in quads, right? And I think there was 4 quads in this office in San Francisco, and it was go get a job order.
Figure it out.
I mean, figure it out, and I I got out of there pretty quick. I really did. I was like, no, this is not for me. And the day that I quit, I was on a plane to Palm Beach. Seriously, that was it's a fact. How do you feel the training is these days?
That's a great question. I think you can be lucky enough to go to an agency where they have the foundational stuff that they're going to teach you. Again, my previous agency, they did a great job, I believe, from a foundational perspective and teaching you this is how you speak to candidates, this is how you speak to clients, this is how you overcome objections on both sides of the clients and the candidate side of things. This is how you get a candidate to accept. It's how you overcome counter offers, whatever it may be, is one of those things that I felt like I really learned. But I think not only that, I think a lot of it is dependent on the team that you're on, right? So the team that I walked into, they're very tenured. I think probably the newest person or the least tenured person on that team had maybe 2 years of experience. So I think he had 2 years. Another person had three. There was a person on our team that had like 15 plus years. And so I really had the opportunity to sit with them and learn the business
Mhm.
and recruit at the beginning and then learn how to go after clients and have to have those conversations with clients. But so in my experience, I felt like I was trained really, really well. And it's led to some of the success I've had today. But I think sometimes it's, you could be a victim of your environment. So maybe you go to an
Sure.
organization where they have the foundational stuff, the training to help you. But I think part of it is the team that you're on is also going to play a key factor in how successful you potentially can be.
Well, I think you and I share a foundational training. I think from the same folks, and I'm proud to proud to have you as a colleague. To say you are a halfer is one is a point of absolute pride, and it's funny they get you know uh, their fair share of criticism, but the things that I learned there I still use today, and I'm so proud of my success that I had there. And I think if someone is going there for to be trained, depending on where you go, San Francisco is an incredible office for me, and I was on the search side, but they really offer an incredible foundation to go out there, and then if you stay there or if you go somewhere else, it's a great foundation to get going to where you need to be. So I think that's wonderful. I don't see that though in a lot of places, and I feel like the idea or the mindset of representing your candidate, representing your client, I feel like sometimes it's one-sided, right? And I think it comes from a place where you're dealing with gatherers. You're not dealing with hunters. You're dealing with a lot of gatherers. Maybe they're TAs. TA is built for gathering. It's
Yep.
not built for hunting, and so, you know, they sort of come in and try to uh, you know, dictate or have their opinions about agency recruiters. And I'm not sure I agree with that sort of um, the gathering approach. What do you think about that?
I mean, well, that's why recruiters exist, right? And we have to say we're called headhunters for a reason. Clients
Yeah.
pay our premium fees, again, like I said earlier, to go find the talent that their talent acquisition team isn't going to have access to, right? We're going after those candidates that probably aren't even looking for a
Right.
job, and we're pitching them this great opportunity to come join X company and help their team. So That's the way I see it. I think there is a little bit of a difference, like you mentioned, right, between your hunters and your gatherers. And again, like I said, that's why they pay us the premium to find these people.
1,000%. The other thing that I think gets lost in translation is that recruiters, for every bad recruiter there was, I thought that was great marketing for me.
Yes, and there are.
You know what
And
I mean?
again, I think, like you mentioned earlier, there when you're talking about training or lack of training, there are a lot of, I don't want to call them bad, just maybe either inexperienced or ill-trained recruiters out there, and it's just one of those things where the good recruiters will be able to take advantage of that, right? So,
Right.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, when I started out and I had issues or I had things that I had to overcome or mistakes that I made with clients that you learn from. So
Right.
I think you're absolutely right.
So, the other thing that I think gets lost too is how much a how much of an impact we have on people's lives. Now, again, good or bad, again, if there's a quote bad experience with a recruiter, again, it's good marketing for us because we're going to treat them right. You know, bad news always carries quicker though. It always does. But what do you think about the fact that, good recruiters, ones that really care, ones that really develop a real relationship with the people they represent? How do you feel about being an integral part of their life story? What does that mean to you?
I mean, I think that's one of the best parts of doing the job. Again, besides the money and how lucrative this field can be, obviously it's always nice to get someone a job. It's always nice to get somebody a $20,000 raise, right? Or maybe they were
Mm-hmm.
underpaid at their previous organization. So I think that's for me that's one of the most rewarding things of being in this field. You can really, like you said, help change someone's life and be a big part of their career as they're moving up within within whatever field they're in.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's good. I mean, it's great, right?
Right.
It's like I said before, when someone's probably um not making what they probably should be making, and you can find them an opportunity and you give them the call and say, hey, so and so is going to offer you the job, and you tell them how much they're going to make. A lot of them, it's shock. They don't realize how much they're worth. So that's a nice part to be able to help make someone's life.
Yeah. Do you have any stories of someone
Well,
that really sticks out?
I actually just placed somebody recently, a mechanical designer with a client of mine here in Houston, and she was making, I think, like $75,000. And so um, I sent her over to the client, one of my better clients too. And so when I sent her over, I sent her over at a range, and they offered her the very top of the range. And when I spoke to the manager, he's like, she's worth it. He's like, the number of years of experience, you know, um, the final when she came in, met with me and the founder, she just blew us away. So we knew we had to give her the highest amount that she was asking for. And so when I called her, she was like completely shocked, asking me multiple times, like, are you joking? Are you joking? Like, no, they want to offer you 90K. And so again, I didn't even have to worry about no counter offer or her taking any other offer. Just because one, the job was a great job, but also two, that they were paying her what she was worth. And those are always the easiest closes, right? And those are always the ones where after you hang up the phone, you're like, gosh, this is why I got into this business. To be able to make a change in someone's life.
1,000%. I love that. We're going to take a break real quick. Stick with us. We're going to have more with Isaiah Rosario, a rising star in the recruiting business. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Jane's Physical Therapy has immediate openings for full-time and part-time positions. For home healthcare physical therapists and physical therapy assistants, we are actively looking in the New Orleans and Lafayette areas. Call Bradley Clark at 713-364-8777. Join us at Jane's Physical Therapy, and let's help Louisiana get back to living life.
Hey everybody, we're back. Oh my gosh. We were talking during the break about what we were talking about last segment with his last placement. Go ahead, finish that thought, because I just love that. Mechanical designers was a new field for you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't know what to expect. Oh, I'm gonna just keep going. I just love this. I love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly, it was one of the first placements I've made in this space. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the comp was. I never placed a mechanical
Yeah.
design, so I made sure to have a good call with the manager to go over what they were looking for initially. And so when I started the search, I talked to dozens of candidates and ended up sending her. It ended up working out, and yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show that. You obviously you have a good call with the manager, you go over things, and I was happy to be able to find someone and help change your life.
And also with the client, that's a client that trusts you.
Yes.
It was one of your better clients. It's one that you've done business with before.
Right.
And, they know that when they go to you, they're going to get the real deal. You know, there's something going on LinkedIn, and I just got to address it real quick about prepping your candidates, right? So the gatherers seem to be the people that don't want to prep them, and the ones that know how to do this business want to prep your candidates. In my view, if you're not prepping your candidates, showing them, you're not telling them how to interview. You're just you're telling them who they're going to talk to, all of that. It's not to close the deal with like a warm body in a cold seat. It's to get, not only in my opinion, if you're not prepping your client, you're doing a disservice to everybody. You know what I mean? And I did that as a TA. What they would ask me, well, what do you think about it? Well, I'm the hiring expert. I'm the SME here.
Right.
I'm not an engineering expert, but I'm a hiring of engineers expert. What do you think of so and so? Sometimes I was wrong. A lot of times I was right. What do you think about that? And why is that a thing? Why would anybody say you shouldn't prep your candidates? And then we haven't even gotten into prepping your client yet. What say you?
When we were talking from a candidate's perspective, I mean, I think that's part of going back to the client side. That's part of why they pay a premium. Again, you want to find the best candidates, but you want to make sure the candidates are comfortable going into these conversations. So for me, whoever it is that they're meeting with, I'm always going to share their LinkedIn profile with the candidate. Make sure this is who you're speaking with. Maybe they went to the same school. Maybe there's some sort of nugget that they can utilize from an icebreaker perspective. And I want to make sure the candidate is walking into this interview as confident as possible. Obviously, they're the subject matter expert in that space. They're meeting with this company. Want to make sure that they go in as prepared as possible.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. Okay. We know where you stand. Spoken like somebody who's put right people in the right places. I think the other thing about that too is you're talking about recruiters that probably will sling anybody up against the wall, and maybe a few have stuck.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it goes
And
back to being transactional, right? I mean, you want to
right.
get away, and I get it. I've done it before, and you want to make sure that if you're going to build a long-lasting relationship with the client, and you want to have clients that are going to trust you and take your word, you want to be able to make sure you're delivering efficiently and not just spraying and praying, as like a lot of people like to say when it comes to sending candidates over.
Spraying and praying. Unbelievable. I never understood that. Back in my day, you think about resumes as paper. And if you've ever been a manager or a leader hiring, right? Maybe more so a manager, right? Because leadership and management are two different things. But say you got a manager and they put a job out and all of their resumes get printed and they got stack of paper. So they got to do their job and go through that giant stack of paper to get who they need, or they're not getting any paper. It's just not hit. And so they have to have somebody to go in there and find the people. They call it search for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No. You're right. I think again, that's what we're here for. We're not just gonna find you anybody and everybody. We're gonna find you the people, the top 3% that you're not gonna have access to.
I am a big proponent of the block of time. We used to call it something else at a certain place that you and I worked at. I'm a proponent of that. I really
Yes.
am.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's big. If a client, so that my here's my thing. If the client is gonna give you their time, dedicate their time, then I'm gonna dedicate my time for you, right?
absolutely.
And it's also it's a buying. Let's be honest, it's a buying sign. If a client is willing to because again, we're all very busy. We know a lot of these managers are busy, but if they're gonna give you a block of time, clearly they're very serious about hiring for this position. Can't tell you how many times I've spoken to clients and they're just window shoppers. And you don't realize that until it's too late, right? Our time is extremely valuable. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that along the way. Early on in my career, I probably spent way too much time working with the clients that aren't going to be the buyers or the C, D clients. But
Mm-hmm.
you learn to spend your time on the clients that you know are serious about hiring. And like I say, giving you a block of time is an example of your serious buyers.
Right. And I mean, I tell you, it's one of the best ways to cut your sales cycle down or your hiring cycle down from however many weeks to two.
Right.
You know what I mean? And getting all that preliminary stuff out of the way. And now we have things like Zoom. You know what I mean? And I don't know how I totally feel about that, but if it's a way to get that first, initial chemistry check out of the way, then get it out of the way and we can get down to brass tacks.
Oh, I mean, I love it. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, a lot of these people we're going after are fully employed. So you're asking me to have a candidate
Fully
that is
go
gainfully employed, take multiple times out of their weeks or multiple days out of their weeks to come meet with the client. I get it. We can do that if we need to get to that point later in the process. But if it's initial stage conversation, um, something like this is perfect to make sure that they're the right fit at the beginning.
I tell you what, um, uh, the company that you're at is so blessed. I'm gonna say it. So blessed to have you. I will say it. I don't care. A lot of respect for you and your approach to this. It's a human approach. It's a human approach to this business that I think has been lacking in the last few years. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked by it. As long as there are people doing a job, there's going to have to be people representing those people into those places.
I agree. Yeah, this
You know,
people are scared and say that this job's going the way of AI. Obviously, we utilize AI here in our business, but
sure.
it'll never fully go that route. You need to have good people in our profession to be able to represent other people.
What do you think are the major roadblocks where in the industry right now? I know tech companies, some of them have been kicked in the teeth. Some of the biggest ones are doing some of the biggest layoffs.
Right.
So what's your take on the state of the industry? Excuse me, the industry.
Sure. I mean, well, it's a little bit different for us, I would say, in a lot of ways. I think most agencies traditionally have individuals that focus on one single vertical, and that's all they do. And I know it can be tough in the IT space. Um, but here at JobBot, we have the flexibility to move around. So like if a market is down, I can move into finance and accounting, or I can move into legal, or I can move into mechanical design, whatever it may be, and have that opportunity to be able to not take too much of a hit from my business or my business perspective.
So really the only obstacle is you understanding that particular industry and the people in it.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. And so
As a good recruiter would.
I mean, you have to. Yeah. It's essential.
So you're now I know and I don't want to put this as an ad for your. Oh, maybe I do. I think you hiring someone for your team would be fantastic. What do you look for when you hire?
Internally, or are you talking about for like my clients?
No, internally. You're hiring for your team right now.
Oh,
So what do
in
you look for to bring someone on to your team
sure.
or
I
to
mean,
refer someone to your team?
absolutely. I mean, you're always going to be looking for, I mean, just like my candidates, I'm looking for good people, people that have good tenure, in their previous roles, um, and that are going to fit in, with our company's culture. We're all about kindness. I know that, there's a lot of bad stories going around when it comes to agencies and how the fear mongering or you need to be on the phones or whatever it may be. You need to, be in a healthy environment to be able to succeed. This job's already a roller coaster as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, yeah, I'm looking for team players. People are going to come in, going to work extremely hard, going to help each other out. That collaborative piece is extremely important, and not be afraid to make mistakes because I mean I'm 5 years in. I know you said that's not a lot. You're right. In most people's careers, you would think that's not a lot. In our space, 5 years is a long time. But I do work with a lot of good people here at JobBot, and a lot of people that I continue to learn from. So, yeah, those are a lot of the things that I look for.
I gotta say, JobBot uh, just comes off as an incredible place. Wonderful environment, like you said. I mean, even the way you guys are, present yourselves, on LinkedIn. Just I'm a recruiter. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just you guys have a lot. You exemplify that sort of kindness, and um, I like that. I like that a lot. Again, it's bringing a human element to a human workforce. Right?
Absolutely.
Does that so when you're hiring for your team, that's something you look for is somebody that, obviously, tenure and all of that other stuff, but the intangibles, you know, is it, there's ways that we can look at, someone's experience or someone, in the interview and see if they're transactional or not, or if they have the heart to do this business. For me, I kind of look at it as heart, like a fighter, the heart of a lion,
Right.
but also uh, control that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What does it say? You want to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove.
I've never heard that, but I like that. Yeah.
It's out of a great book, bestseller since the beginning of time. But yeah, I really like that, and I'm really impressed with JobBot and people that I've seen work there. So and you being no exception. Um, where do you think the industry is going?
That's a great question. I mean, again, I've only been in it for the last 5 years. I know it's like you mentioned, very different in when you started compared to where it's been in the last 5 years. But I mean, I honestly, I don't think I see it changing vastly different. I think it's still a people business. And so I really don't see recruiters or recruiting changing too much. Yes, AI and a lot of technology will probably make our jobs easier as it already has. But again, it all comes down to continuing to pick up the phone, right? That's extremely old school, but
It'll
picking up
make you
the
money.
phone, yeah,
I mean,
building building relationships, and being able to share with clients that you can find them the best talent, um, you know, most efficiently way possible.
it's amazing that this thing can either be your worst enemy or your best friend.
Right.
It just depends on how you're utilizing it. It's the tool that it is. I was just so being on the phone is a big deal still because you're making a connection. And
Yes.
in a world that is so has tried to eliminate those connections, is so vital that we keep. I've always said, and you let me know what you think of this. Once you learn the basics, and if you stick to the basics, you'll never have to go back to them. The basics make you money. The basics are the things that someone keep that human touch. That reminds you that you're helping change somebody's life. We always think of that as the candidate, right? We're helping change the candidate's life. We don't typically think of the client. Think of the pain that client has gone through by not having the person that you're representing on their team.
Yeah. That's a great way to
Longer
think.
longer hours for their team.
Yeah.
Lots more stress for their team. There's people that leave teams because they're understaffed. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So you're not only helping change the life of someone that you're representing, you're also helping change the lives of the team that you're putting that candidate on. It's a very big deal. You know, I think in this business, and the way I've been successful in it is you think of things as win-win-wins, right? The three wins: them, the candidate, and you.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
thinking of The Office, Michael Scott. Win win win.
yeah, yeah. It has to be that way. And then there's always, hey, the ABCs. Always be closing, and
Let's be close.
a movie that they used to call me the Jerry Maguire of recruiting. When I saw that, I was like, yes, I'd love that. I think that should be a movie every recruiter should see. That and Glengarry Glen Ross, and maybe to
Isn't he
you know
based on Drew Rosenhaus or loosely based on Drew Rosenhaus, I think?
Jerry Maguire.
Is it Drew Rosenhaus or
No. Lee Steinberg.
Steinberg? That's
That
it.
man has influenced my career in more ways than I can count through that movie. I mean, if you haven't connected with him, connect with him. That guy is incredible. I think he's still Patrick Mahomes' agent. When you're looking at agents, talent agents, sports agents,
Right.
it's the same thing. Where it may be different in the way business is conducted, but it's the same. you know it's the same. Your candidate will become your client one day, and if you're not looking
Yeah.
at your candidate as your client already, then you're representing the wrong people, and you're probably doing this business wrong, period.
Very true.
That's the way I feel about it. I'm just loving this conversation. I really am. What's the first thing when you hire somebody to your team, and let's say they don't have any experience, right? And they're junior as junior can be. What do you tell them? What's the first week look like for them?
Gosh, I mean, just because it's very different here, because we're not doing that here. But previously, um, I mean, you just tell them that it's going to be a roller coaster, that it's going to feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to make sure that you're going to make mistakes, but you do your best to learn from those mistakes. And hopefully these individuals are surrounded by a good team. Yes, a lot of it is on themselves, but if you're surrounded by a good team, whenever you're making those mistakes, they can help you figure it out along the way. I think those are some of the things that I think are extremely important. So yes, it's again nature versus nurture. A lot of it is, do you have it in you to continue to succeed and survive in this business? But also, are you surrounded by a good team? And I think
Hmm.
that's very important.
The more things change,
Yeah,
right?
well, you're the
I mean,
same.
it's
Exactly.
yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Um, I don't know. There's an attitude that closers have. You know what I mean? Like I had it. I mean, I did. I had it. Maybe I still have it a little bit. I don't know. But I just, when it comes to closing, I just love it. I love it because I know lives are changing, you know, and I love that. So with you guys are hiring fairly experienced people, say from anywhere from 3 years to I don't know how many years. Um, but they still have to be moldable, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been doing this for 5 years. There's still something that I'm learning every day, right? That's the
There
one
it
thing I
is.
love about this job. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
There's people that are on my team, um, in the division I'm on, and they've been in this business probably two times, three times as long as I have, and they're still
Still
extremely
learning.
learning every single day.
Yeah.
So I can be this in this business for 5 years. I can be in this business for 10 years, and there's always something more to learn. There's always
I
going to be
love
mistakes
that.
that you're going to make, but like I said, you got to be able to learn from them and continue
Gosh.
to push.
I love that. I love that. You have to be a student. You have to
Right.
be a lifelong student. If you're not, you're going to find out real quick how little you do know. I think the older I get, the less I know. That's just the way it is. The older I get, the less I know, and I'm good with it because I love that. I love your attitude, man. I tell you, if there are recruiters that have your attitude, that have your, because you're a closer, dude. You're a stone closer, bro, and still have that humble attitude and that I think the state of the industry is pretty good if there's uh if there's recruiters like you in this
I
business.
appreciate that.
No, heartfelt, absolutely, absolutely. What what advice do you have for folks that are a little disillusioned, that are a little, maybe they haven't been with the right people, maybe they're a little jaded, maybe, what do you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, like anything in life, right? I think that's another thing too, right? There's a lot of parallels in life with recruiting. There's a lot of parallels in sports with recruiting. Um, if this was easy, I think anyone and everyone would do it. But I mean, for me, it's like you just got to make sure, again, you're learning from your mistakes, and there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You just got to make sure on the highs, you're not too high, and on the lows, you're not too low. You just got to make sure you're as even keel as possible, and hopefully, you're surrounded by good people. You don't just have to be at the company that you work for. If you're, if you have a partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you have, hopefully, family, hopefully they can, keep you even keel, friends, whatever it may be, to help you, because I know this industry is brutal, and it chews people and it spits them out. So you got to make sure that you got to keep your head on straight, and as long as you're working hard, things will work out for you. That's my biggest piece.
Along with that, um let me ask you this: how important is a spiritual foundation for you?
It's a great question. I think it's very important, right? Again, going back to sports, can't tell you how many athletes, right? They always give their praise to God, and I think it's important. I think it's important to have faith. whoever you believe in, but have, some sort of faith. Um, because at the end of the day, that's something you could always fall back on
Fall forward in,
or
right?
fall forward. There you
I
go.
mean,
That's a way to put it.
it keeps you sane, right? Keeps
Yes.
you grounded, keeps you level. Isaiah, I am thoroughly encouraged. I got to tell you, I'm more encouraged after this show than I was at the beginning. Not because of you, but because of what I've seen and literally what I'm witnessing in the industry. You have been a source of incredible encouragement to me. And I think everyone within the sound of my voice that is looking to get into this business, I think it'd be wise to follow your example. And um, I think with people like you in it, I think we're going to be okay. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. I mean, you bring the juice, you bring the energy, with everything you do. So I think that's important as well.
Well, thank you so much. That means the world to me, man. Thank you. Now, where can people? Oh, goodness gracious! Where can people get? Was there an earthquake? I don't know. I didn't feel one. I'm not sure. What was that?
Not here in Houston.
I'm not in Houston. No, not in Houston, buddy. What? Where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can email me, isaiah.rosario@jobbot.com. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn, as you probably know, Bradley. That's where
Oh
you and
yeah.
I connected. As a recruiter, you have to live on LinkedIn. And so, if anyone wants to shoot me a connection request, or shoot me an email, more than happy to talk to you, whether it's candidates or clients, more than happy to talk to you about the business, what I'm seeing, and how I can help you move forward in your career.
Isaiah, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And again, you really have encouraged me today. I'm telling you, you really have. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. And we're going to talk soon. And if you have, if you are somebody out there looking to fill your jobs, if you're having trouble finding the candidates that you need, get in contact with Isaiah. He's got you. That is a fact. I know it. Period. This guy is relentless. He's great, and he will make sure that you don't have he's not an order taker. He's not somebody that's going to put you in a situation where you're going to get rid of the guy. There's nothing worse. There's almost nothing worse than a bad hire. You know what I'm saying? Like there's almost nothing worse than that. This guy's going to make sure that you have the right people, the right time. And I'm going to tell you right now, you may have to pay up for it. I'm just counting you. You get what you pay for. So get in contact with Isaiah, and I really encourage you to. He is a class act, and JobBot, you're blessed to have him, and I mean it. Everybody, I just thank you so much for tuning in today, and for all of us at Work Your Career Wednesday, White Husky Films, Jane's Physical Therapy. Gosh, we thank you, Isaiah, and know this from the bottom of all of our hearts that we love you and God bless you. And let his face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself and each other. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
White Husky Films. Dream, create, record. We create ads and promos for your business. We can promote your video on television, Facebook, YouTube, Hulu, and more. We do a full Google SEO analysis for you with any plan. Call us today at 305-744-1444 or visit our website at whitehuskyfilms.com. White Husky Films. You'll be glad you did.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Hey, if you like Work Your Career Wednesday and want to be notified every single time we have a new episode, like, share, and subscribe. hit that notification bell, smash it, get a hammer and get it. And
Yeah, that's fine.
Too much?
No, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I love it. People want.
Do you hear Steven in the background? I was just making sure I'm going to be okay. But get that notification going. And hey, we will be letting you know, or I guess YouTube will be letting you know, when the next Work Your Career Wednesday is on. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, ding it, ring it, sling it, and bo-bang it. All right? And we will see you soon. Work Your Career Wednesday. Oh, great. I'm glad you stopped by. Be sure to get that subscription bell, and I'll see you there.